If I could be a quorum, I would, but I can't be a quorum, so. I
Does
would-
anybody object to public be heard in the absence of a quorum? Then let's go to public be heard. Perfect. Which, you have to sign after this.
It is Iris first.
Oh, Iris.
Hi, just to be sure, good. I haven't been up here in so long.
I know.
What's it look like?
Wheels of government.
I've been always over there, I just haven't been over here. Yeah, anyway, it'll be short. You know that hole, did you see that hole that they blocked off at the Town of Rebrook Bridge?
Yes,
That's a little scary.
yes.
Somebody had pointed out, like underneath, that in different places, that it also may be falling apart. So it looks like there might be some major...
Well, I thought they blocked it off
Oh,
because...
they did?
Yes.
Yeah, but I was in the...
I don't think it had to do with the bridge. I think it's because they're digging a pit
Oh.
to thaw out the pipe.
No, separate from
Oh,
that.
separate.
from, I
Uh-huh,
know all
okay.
about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, separate from that, someone was pointing out underneath some things that are falling apart under the bridge, not just that hole.
Uh-huh.
So,
We did get an inspection on that a year or two ago, didn't we?
It was not too
so
far.
anyway, just thought I'd point it out, like do a real...
I'll ask Mike, because I think they inspected that
Yeah,
in the last couple of years.
yeah. And the only other thing is that, you know, I got an email and I see that there are a lot of folks here from Cooper Lake. I thought it was a great idea for the Cooper Lake Appreciation Day. You also, you know about that too, and that's why you're here. So anyway, I support that. I thought it was a great idea.
Randy.
Hello, I'm here to talk about the gender glass ceiling and broadcasting in Woodstock. The longtime Woodstock radio station is owned and operated by three men, with no women in their management. There are currently no female DJs on the air, and the two previous female DJs, one's name was the name of a candy and also very associated with prostitution. The other last disc jockey there wasn't even given the opportunity to use a name. Instead, she was objectified by using the name Midday Goddess. So what happens when two women, Felicia and I, end up getting a small 100-watt radio station in Woodstock? Oh my God, the crap hits the fan. They can't have that. And we have a memo from the general manager of the station, Richard Fusco, anybody that wants it, where he says at the end of a paragraph, well, let's see if we can get together with them and you, referring to our lawyer, and saying to work out a name for their station that, quote unquote, works for us, meaning specifically them. In other words, two women who have a radio station have to get WDST's approval for a name for our radio station, which, by the way, according to our lawyer, and there's another lawyer present who agrees with us who work in trademarks, says that our name is perfectly legal under trademark. Just last week, the Supreme Court issued a trademark decision that said if you use a common in your name, like Woodstock, you have to be prepared to allow other people to use the name, the common name, in a way that does not violate your trademark. There is no way that WDST can claim the right to use exclusively Woodstock in his name, and that's what this is all about. Okay? Now, there was several newspapers about it, and they called WDST's letter to us cordial. I'm sorry. A certified letter is not cordial. It is more like, if it has congratulations in it, it's pleasant poison. So our lawyer sent out a letter today to WDST basically saying that any claims against us are BS. Unfortunately, something was published in one of the newspapers that went unchallenged or went without, it was an allegation that I didn't get a chance to deny, and that was that I made nasty phone calls to their switchboard. I made one phone call to their switchboard, and that was to give them the contact information of our trademark lawyer in New York, so that I didn't have to deal with them. But unfortunately, we're still standing here, and except for our little radio station, male chauvinism is alive and well on radio in Woodstock.
Liz.
I apologize to everybody for being late.
Right there's good. Right there's good.
Now, if you want to stand back.
For some reason, I'm told by this guy I have to stand there. Anyway, I'm coming from State of Lake, obviously, you guys know. We've been circulating a petition after the last meeting. I'm going to read exactly what we had in the paper. You probably saw it, that there's a lot of people in town don't think that we're really out of the woods yet in terms of what happened to us. Basically, Niagara might be history, but we really do believe, I think everybody probably agrees here, that the circumstances under which this all happened still exist. The main thing is, as Jeremy alluded to, Kingston still has a huge infrastructure problem, and they have a lot of money that they have to raise to be able to take care of it. Just recently, when that transmission main broke in the town of Kingston, Judy Hanson was quoted as saying that we have to look for other opportunities. Now, maybe that may be to get grants, but it doesn't mean that opportunities would exclusively be that, in our view anyway. And the Kingston Water Board has always insisted that their water rights in Woodstock are basically superior to ours from these decisions in 1929 and 1954. They could still issue another will share letter identical to the one that was already done without us ever knowing about it, and things would go on and we would have to have this whole challenge revisited. So perhaps next time it could be a multinational company, it could be Nestle that has deeper pockets than Niagara certainly did. So we would like the town board, we urge you to take some proactive steps necessary to protect us from another Niagara. Now, the way the petition reads, and I'm sure you guys have seen it because I know Bill is a member of the Cooper Lake Facebook page and Hillary is, so I know everybody's seen it. We tried to make it as, broad in the sense that we can't tell you what to do because you guys are the ones that need to do that. But we do really feel that we would like to be able to look at possibly getting some kind of a binding agreement with the city of Kingston to be able to avoid some of these problems that have come up. And that's basically what the gist of it was. So I want to give you guys this. There's also on the attached, this is also a resolution that Iris had spoken to you about the Cooper Lake Appreciation Day. So we have about 300 people that signed the petition. I'll leave this Kathy. Are Kathy and Ken coming tonight?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, you can give that to them in their box. And that's some extra.
And Liz, can I have one for Jackie?
Is this the same petition that people have been emailing me about
Yeah.
saying that they've signed on?
That's good. Yes. Basically, it was to just secure a binding agreement with the city, with Kingston, that one, prohibits the sale of water to large bulk water bottling companies, and two, formalizes the respective municipal rights and obligations within the Woodstock watershed. I think we all agree that Kingston has rights, we have rights, they have obligations to us, we have obligations to them. So we would just like to have the town board start the dialogue. It was my understanding, and here's, by the way, here's the petition. I might want to read you,
Is this it? No,
that's for the resolution for the Cooper Lake Appreciation Day. These are the signatures. I printed out some of the comments that...
Can you read the petition, what it reads?
It says that we urge you to secure a binding agreement with Kingston that one, prohibits the sale of water to large bulk water bottling companies, and two, formalizes the respective municipal rights and obligations within the Woodstock watershed. And some of them, I'm going to give you also here, although that's the list of people that signed, there was a lot of comments that came through. Basically it's our water, not for sale. I'm not sure if that's what we all agreed to. They want to protect the watershed. KWB, meaning the Kingston Water Board, needs to realize we live in a different environment than in 1929 and 1954. We have made our voices known. We need to protect our resources in an unstable and changing environment. Please protect our water from exploitation. Water is precious, don't give our water away. Anyway, I'll give this to you. I think one of the other things that has come up in the dialogue is that we don't have a particularly great relationship at this point with the city of Kingston. And
We never did.
I know, but we're hoping that maybe out of this process that we went through, that this could be the beginning of trying to engage them as equal partners. We share water and we share land in the town of Woodstock. And I think it's time that, we all sort of try and come to the table and try to understand where we're at. If we could resolve some of these problems, of these decisions, that we don't even really know if they would ever stand up in a court of law at this point. I mean, maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. But wouldn't it be better off for all of us, the people of the ratepayers in the city of Kingston and the people in Woodstock, to try and have our collective municipal leaders look to try and formalize some kind of an understanding that would carry us forward. So that's basically what we would like you to consider. I'm wondering, I don't know if I had this right from the last time we were here. Did you, Jeremy, say that you might have the town board talk to Jeff Baker about what the after effects of this could be in terms of our rights and going forward?
Oh, yeah.
We
Yeah.
not that we were going to talk to him, that he's doing some research and review,
Okay.
and he's going to get back to us.
Now,
So I wouldn't want to do anything until.
okay, so
Yeah.
is that something that you would be able to have him come and maybe make a presentation publicly
Why
about?
not?
Hmm?
I
Pardon?
don't see why not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea when that might, yeah, that'd be great. That would be
I
really
don't.
great. Okay.
As I explained to Jeff, I'm not going to rush quality. I just want a quality job.
Mhm.
And he assured me that it would be quality.
Do you have any idea when it might happen?
I don't think it would be in the, it should be, I don't want to say, but it won't,
I mean, it was
we're not going to be hanging by our thumbs for terribly long.
It was,
Okay.
it was a month ago that we contacted him with this
Mhm.
request, so there's,
Mhm.
I would hope in another month or so we would have something.
But yeah, yes, of course. I don't see anything that he would tell us that, should be kept top secret. so.
Okay. And the other thing is.
And I just want to say with regard to that I would, before acting on these recommendations, which on their face look to be good,
Mhm.
but I would really like to wait and really
Oh,
see
yeah.
what he
No, I don't think that
feels
we're,
about it.
we just want you to know that there are still people, that there's people in the community that don't believe just because we were able to win this. I mean, and we really have no idea how we really, was it just a combination of a lot of factors? Was there one? We really don't know what made Niagara go over the edge and say this wasn't the place for them.
Niagara's waters always go over the edge.
How would that frozen?
this year.
I do feel pretty confident that it was the combination of things. I mean, you had the town of Woodstock, which I think played a small part, because the people in the city of Kingston were opposed to this. The Common Council was opposed to this. Riverkeeper was on board, which is a big organization. And I think the combination of all these forces scared the hell out of them.
And the
Plus the
startup,
tax
and the
incentives.
startup New York.
And both of those, no startup, and they didn't get the other
The
fund
CFA
grant
funding in the
that they were
beginning,
looking
yeah.
for. So I mean, I think it was a combination of all those things that just, they couldn't overcome them.
Yeah, well, so, there was a lot of factors, but it doesn't mean that, we all know that we have some of the probably best water in the Northeast here. It's all from basically protected land. It's coming and it's going into.
We certainly fulfill our obligations to Kingston, yes,
Yeah, yeah.
by maintaining a very clean environment for
Yeah.
them to draw water from.
And also,
They still have to filter.
We maintain the road around Cooper Lake. We respect their requirements of not paving it. even though it's just a mess and it creates a lot of problems for the highway department all year long.
And expense.
And expense. So there is, we are sort of intertwined, but anyway, we're very thankful that you're awaiting that report, and,
Oh, we'll share it.
Yeah.
I can't think of any reason why it couldn't be.
okay. The other thing is, at the last meeting, and this was sort of a request, not a request, but when Rebecca and I were talking, Rebecca from Kingston Citizens, we're thinking, let's reach out to Judy Hansen and ask her to maybe come and talk to the board about the plans for the dam and where they're gonna go and, when they expect to have this happen.
Jeremy and I talked about this the other day.
Okay,
I think we should let the wounds heal a little bit, but I think sometime in the near future, I totally agree with you, we should try to work to get a better relationship with them, because they are gonna do something up there. They may raise that dam. They have to deal with the infrastructure up there.
yeah.
And I think it would be far better to have a good relationship going into that as opposed to oppositional.
I mean, we still have remnants, unfortunately, of what happened when we were on the logging
Yeah.
in May Hollow. So there's a lot of history there,
Yeah.
but maybe perhaps this is a way for us to sort of step over that and find some way to engage.
And listen, I'll tell you, when we did the Van Hoagland Bridge, I mean, Judy couldn't have been more helpful with the placement of the temporary bridge and with working on us and letting us leave the abutment in so that someday if they were to do something else over there, they wouldn't ruin our bridge. They could use that abutment to get heavy equipment over. So, there's some possibilities there and there's been some signs. So I think we should work to that. I'd also want to be very careful not to, these are some nice ideas that you have here in the resolutions, but I think we just need to be careful not to do anything that would be antagonistic.
Well, it's up to you
Yeah.
guys. You guys are the people that make the decisions. We're just saying that there's people out
Right.
in the town that feel that we're still vulnerable.
Right.
And,
And we don't disagree.
and we just need to take the steps forward to do that.
I'm glad of that. I'm glad that there are people out in town who feel that we're vulnerable. I'm glad.
Yeah. Let me just read. So the other thing we were interested in doing, and of course I've had some people say that maybe February 13th is not the greatest day, but it came up that we'd like to have the town board consider a resolution of declaring February 13th of every year as Cooper Lake Appreciation Day. And we put together like a draft resolution. Doesn't mean anything for you
Is
guys.
that what?
It would be attached to the first page. Should I read it now, or do you want
Oh,
to
sure,
wait
read
till,
it.
do you want to wait till next week,
We'll
or?
let the folks at home hear what's on.
Okay, all right, whereas in September 2014, the residents of Woodstock became aware of a proposal by the Kingston Water Department and the town of Ulster to sell an additional 1.75 million gallons of water from the Woodstock watershed in order to provide the Niagara Bottling LLC the resources necessary to construct a 415,000 square foot bottling facility on Atlantic City. And whereas the town of Woodstock, along with local advocacy groups like Esopus Creek Conservancy, Kingston Citizens, Riverkeeper, Save Cooper Lake, and the Woodstock Land Conservancy work together for the next 5 months to defeat this project based on a comprehensive lack of community support for this project. And whereas on February 13th, 2015, Niagara Bottling issued a press release stating that they had decided to look elsewhere for water resources to build this facility. And whereas the town of Woodstock wishes to memorialize the collective effort of engaged and dedicated activism within the town, neighboring communities, and the students of SUNY Ulster to seek transparency within government and to protect our natural resources, now therefore be it resolved to declare each February 13th as Cooper Lake Appreciation Day in order to recognize the importance of this effort to safeguard our shared natural resources and to develop common purpose and vision for the future. Anyway, so if you guys could consider that and vote on it next week, that would be
Now,
wonderful.
wait a second.
Oh, you're interested in that?
Wait a second.
Oh.
Well, no, I mean, it seems to me that we have at least until February
That
12th
next
to
year,
adopt
I
this. What's the
Well, I
rush?
hope you won't wait that long.
Well, I don't know about that.
Thank you, Liz.
Anyway, so that's it, and thanks. That's yours.
Jeremy, there are no more people signed up for public be heard, but Joe Nibble asked me if I would read this announcement
The Xena Fire Company 4 is holding their corned beef dinner on Saturday from 4 to 7. It's eat-in, takeout, or delivery. There's a sign on the bulletin board. If anybody wants more information, there's a phone number there and everything to the contact, so just...
There's tickets right here. They deliver in a fire truck?
Some of the best.
In an old Jeep.
Some of the best corned beef you'll have, so if you're around, don't miss it.
Good.
Thank you, Joe.
Wish I'd eaten supper before I came. Okay, I'd like to make a, we're very close to a public hearing. I'd like to announce that the Woodstock Police Department has recently been trained with the assistance of the Ulster County Sheriff's Office and the Woodstock Rescue Squad in administering nasal naloxone, Narcan. The objective is to treat and reduce injuries and fatalities due to opioid-involved overdoses. Qualified officers were issued and are equipped with the overdose rescue kits. Now, of course, this is an announcement I make with a mixture of happiness, but also sadness. Happiness that we have a police department which are now given the tools and the training to perhaps save lives, but of course, deep sense of sorrow and sadness that we've come to such a point where this kind of training is necessary. It's no secret to anybody here that our nation is right now suffering an epidemic of opioid use. Deaths from overdoses have spiked considerably, and particularly in these last 3 or 4 years. And this was something that I discussed some time ago with our Chief of Police, Clayton Keefe, asking him to prepare our force for what I hope is not the inevitability, but certainly the possibility of such an occasion, an occurrence happening here in the town of Woodstock. So I appreciate his actions and the actions of the police department who took this training. I thank the Ulster County Sheriff's Department and the Woodstock Rescue Squad for their help and assistance in getting this going. I hope that we never have to do it. I hope to God that it's never needed. But if it is, we have some people in our emergency services who are prepared to meet that crisis. So that's it as far as announcements. Now we have 5 minutes, so let me offer a resolution. And I'm sorry, this was first on the agenda, and then I took it off the agenda, and then I put it back. So it shouldn't be a surprise to those who read our agendas last week. Whereas it is estimated that about 1 in 5 Americans suffer from a diagnosable mental disorder in a given year. And whereas since 1949, the month of May has been designated as Mental Health Awareness Month, and whereas the town of Woodstock wishes to join other municipalities and school districts in a tangible gesture to focus attention on Mental Health Awareness Month, and whereas the Mid-Hudson National Alliance on Mental Health, NAMI, in its endeavor to dispel the stigma of mental illness and to promote awareness in a direct and visible manner, wishes to bring the Ribbon Campaign, May 2015, to the people of the town of Woodstock. And whereas the NAMI logo and website address plus the message that reads, quote, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, find help, find hope, unquote, is attached to attractive white ribbons. And whereas the more visible these ribbons, the more people who shall become aware of this important message. And whereas to obtain and display the ribbons and messages are of no cost to the town, therefore be it resolved to authorize placement of the ribbons and messages at the following municipal locations: Town Hall Message Board, Town Offices Message Board, Mescal Hornbeck Message Board, when it becomes available, obviously, Woodstock Youth Center Message Board, and the message board adjacent to Woodstock Rock City Road parking lot. And be it further resolved, the Woodstock Town Board encourages private businesses and residents to offer similar highly visible locations for such ribbons and messages. And be it further resolved, in accordance with the spirit of this resolution, the Woodstock Town Board calls upon its county, state, and federal representatives to propose and support in the respective legislative chambers increased funding for the research into the causes of mental illness and effective treatment, and for the expansion of facilities and resources to treat mentally ill patients. And be it further resolved, the Woodstock Town Board declares itself proud to represent a community that for many, many years has shown compassion for its mentally ill residents.
Second.
Just as a comment to this, I want to show my thanks to the county for the mobile mental health crisis service that they've put into action this year. And at the same time, just express the concern I have with the mounting dependence that we use our prisons for housing mentally ill people.
Yeah.
And I really hope that we as a people, as a nation, can steer ourselves away from that. You know, there was in the past, of course, the horrible institutionalization of mentally ill people that was done in an extremely irresponsible way, and I'm by no means in supporting going back to that way of treating mentally ill people, abusing mentally ill people, as it were. However, there's no doubt that, in my mind, that increased facilities for the treatment of mental illness and increased research into its causes and treatment is something that our society is in more and more need of. And with that, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now, sir, we have come from Mr. Musashi Miyake. Thank you, sir, for coming. You know, I was going to come and make my personal contribution tonight, as I'd done last year, and I wasn't sure if it was going to be this week or last week. So I will forward that in the mail.
Thank you very
But
much.
thank you very, very much
Thank
for
you very
coming
much.
and for helping us with this resolution. Appreciate it.
We have a board meeting this Saturday, and I will convey to all board members. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's good to see you again.
This is-
And now, town clerk? Oh no, we still got 3 minutes. Yeah, we got another. Okay, what else have we got? Okay. In honor of our former colleague, Steve Knight. Whereas Parkinson's disease is a progressive neurological movement disorder of the central nervous system that has a unique impact on each patient. And whereas according to the Parkinson's Action Network, the Parkinson's Disease Foundation, the American Parkinson's Disease Association, and the National Institute of Health, there are over 1 million Americans diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. And whereas symptoms include slowness, tremor, difficulty with balance and speaking, rigidity, cognitive and memory problems, and whereas although new medicines and therapies may enhance life for some time for people with Parkinson's, more work is needed for a cure. And whereas increased education and research are needed to help fund more effective treatments and cure side effects and ultimately cure for Parkinson's disease. And whereas increased education and research are needed to and whereas a multidisciplinary approach to Parkinson's disease care includes local wellness, support, and caregiver groups. And whereas April has been proclaimed as Worldwide Parkinson's Awareness Month for all to recognize the need for more research and help in dealing with the devastating effects of Parkinson's disease, therefore be it resolved to declare April Parkinson's Awareness Month.
In honor of Steve Knight, I second that.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jay was silent.
Did you vote?
I didn't hear you call.
Oh, I'm sorry. I called the question.
Sorry. Yes, of course, aye.
7:30.
Okay, read that announcement.
Legal notice was placed in Woodstock Times on February 19th, 2015. Please take notice, on February 17th, 2015, the Woodstock Town Board scheduled a public hearing for March 10th, 2015 at 7:30 p.m. at the town offices, 45 Conwell Drive, Woodstock, New York, to receive comment on a proposal to transfer up to $140,000 from the Highway Repair Reserve Fund to the McDaniel Road Bridge Replacement Capital Project to finance the engineering and replacement of the McDaniel Road Bridge. By order of the Woodstock Town Board, Jackie Early, Woodstock Town Clerk.
And please, one at a time. Okay, well, you know, a little history here. 30 years ago, the town of Woodstock replaced 3 bridges. And 30 years ago, you got those 3 bridges. So we got one of them done. This last year, the Chestnut Hill Bridge. McDaniel Road Bridge is next, and next year we will do the Erie Hill Bridge. We had money left over in the funds that we put away for the Chestnut Hill Bridge. I wish $140,000 was enough to replace the bridge, but it's not. But between the funds that were left over from that project and the $140,000 that we were proposing to augment that fund, it should be enough to see this job through, just in case anyone is interested.
Thank you.
We need to get this damn bridge fixed. Because I sit across from it and watch all these big trucks coming and going and ignoring that 5-ton limit sign. One of these days, one of them's gonna end up in the drain.
Yeah. Well, this will certainly expedite it.
Anyone?
I'd like to offer the
I
following
feel
resolution.
I should get on that.
Well, just denounce it, something.
Good
Whereas,
job.
Whereas a public hearing was held on March 10, 2015, put that in the record, please.
I just said we did a good
Whereas a
job.
public hearing was held on March 10, 2015 to hear comment on a proposal to transfer up to $140,000 from the Highway Repair Reserve to the McDaniel Bridge Replacement Capital Project number .076, established by resolution dated December 30, 2014. Whereas the public was given the opportunity to be heard on this proposal and didn't say a damn word. And whereas the town board finds it a matter of public necessity to replace the McDaniel Road Bridge, therefore be it resolved to close the public hearing and be it further resolved to authorize the transfer up to $140,000 from the Highway Repair Reserve to the McDaniel Bridge Replacement Capital Project number .076, established by resolution dated December 30, 2014.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And be it resolved to authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement with Possible Productions, Inc. for 24-hour use of the Mountain View parking lot on Friday, March 27th. Fee for such use to be $1,000. And be it further resolved pursuant to a consensus expressed at the December 2014 town board meeting but never formalized, to deposit all rental fees received from Possible Productions in the Mescal Homeland Community Center capital project.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that the same people who've been here?
Yes, but you'll notice that we bumped the fee.
I
from 500
noticed,
to
I
1,000.
did.
What were they called? Possible
Five-
Productions?
500?
Yeah, that's, yeah,
The happy.
yeah, it's,
The Happy-ish,
yeah, Possible
yeah.
Productions, but they produced the show Happy-ish.
No, yeah. I
Which,
go,
by the way, I just finally got around to Googling today. If you Google Happy-ish, it's very interesting. The original star that was slated for that show was Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, obviously.
And they show like a quick little, a short, little thing. Now, they don't show any of the town, any of the footage that they're showing in town in this little short. Because this tells the story of a 44-year-old man who sort of has a professional life in New York City, but he hits a brick wall in the company that he works for and decides that he is unhappy and he's going to move to the country. So that's sort of the premise of the show. So it only shows the New York City portion of this.
Okay, yeah.
And I have to say, it looks like it's going to be an interesting
But
show.
it's only on Showtime.
And it's, do you get Time Warner?
Yeah.
Am I the only person in the town of Woodstock to get a note from Time Warner?
No,
offering free Showtime
I did
for-
not get it, but my friend did.
Yeah.
But I didn't get
Oh,
it.
thank God other people got it. I have to go to the ethics forum. But anyway, a number of Time Warner subscribers.
Yeah, and I don't know
offered
if they
that.
gave it to everybody, because
Uh-huh.
I didn't get one.
do you get
Well, you should call them up.
Netflix?
Yeah, I know, I was going to.
Streaming Netflix? Do you
No, I
stream?
didn't.
I think Showtime's.
It'll probably be on Netflix of the next season.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
Yeah. No, be a lot of familiar shots in there, because they were all over.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, what really makes it in, because they cut a lot all the time,
right.
so.
Yeah, it's cutting room floor. Yes. It's the final cut.
The final
call
cut.
it.
right.
That's when the actors and the writer and everybody lose
That was
their
a movie
minds.
with Robin Williams.
Final cut?
I think there was a movie.
Uh-huh. Was it about that? About all the stuff that was
Yeah, it was
left on the cutting room
something
floor?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, my father, as some of you may or may not be aware, had a career writing for television. And he wrote a show, it was like a Western. This was like back in the early 60s. And the show that he wrote was, here's the homesteading family. I forget what the show was, but here's this family out on the homestead. and their livestock are being like horribly and viciously mauled and torn apart. And they don't know why, and they don't know why, and they don't know why, and they don't know why. And then at the climax of the show, you find out that it was a Wolverine. Okay? So, oh boy, is he happy with this script. He wrote a real cliffhanger, oh boy, oh boy. So, now it comes the night to turn on the TV and watch his show. And it opens up with a Wolverine.
End of surprise, no cliffhanger there.
Anyway, is there any more business?
Well, I'd like to thank Mr. Kimball for his wonderful pictures of bald eagles that have appeared in the paper recently.
Uh-huh.
The Eagles did all the work. I just pressed the button.
It was just a flight of fancy.
I just had to wing it.
Birds of a feather.
No, that's done.
No, that's done.
Really, they're wonderful shows.
I'm sorry,
Thank
where
you.
were these posted?
Thank you.
Where were they posted?
In the Freeman.
Oh, uh-huh. Where'd you find them?
These were at the Sutter's Lighthouse. They have a nest across the river in Dutchess County, but they come over this side of the river.
Uh-huh.
There's also a pair that hangs out in 209 and 28.
Don't they pay less sales tax in Dutchess County?
They don't pay any sales tax.
They don't pay any.
But they do need a building permit for the nest.
Okay.
Somewhere
saw
on
them
Soft Hill
also
Road
over at the
too,
lighthouse.
around the town of Kingston, there's, there must be a nesting pair, there's two down there.
I think it might be the same pair that's on 209 and 28.
Well, this reminds me of the afternoon that Congressman Chris Gibson first introduced himself to me. He came to the office. And so I invited him in, and I sat him down, and I said, "Man, am I surprised to see you?" And he said, "Well, why?" And I said, "Because Woodstock has more bald eagles than registered Republicans." And God bless him, he just cracked up. Anyway, any more business? Move to adjourn? All in favor?
Okay.
Thank you.
I caught them also down at the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like right in the tree like right there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
started